whether it's or to get the control with picking. The only problem that I'm seeing is your picking hand, right? It's just kind of hovering a little too far over, and that's when we start hitting like some of the wrong strings. Or even if we do hit the right string every time, we're still creating way too much movement and it's taking a little slower. So there's two ways I want to try to fix this. And I actually just did this with a student, and it really worked for him. But when you're doing, or however we had it, right? I want you to take your pinky and your ring finger of your picking hand, and I want you to put it under the strings, but wherever's comfortable, right? So don't stress it. What this does, so watch, if I pull my hand out like this, and I do, even now, like, that's so awkward for me to do because I'm trying to hold this tiny little pick and make these tiny little motions with my elbow, and that muscle is kind of like made for like swinging a hammer, you know? So if we do this, immediately we have way more control. Not only that, I can tell if I wanted to like add volume to that, I don't even know if I could because I can't get like a good amount of leverage to really like dig into it. So if you do that, right, and just like feel it, you can really get your hand to move. You have way more control, and it's going to sit right on top. Now, I want you to try one more thing. There's two versions of this. I want you to remember when we were doing the palm muting. I want you to take that palm mute and I want you to move it back behind the strings. So they're not actually palm muting the strings. They're kind of like sitting on that bridge part. That's another way. Right? So what happens is, depending on where you're picking and where you're moving, a lot of people, me especially, this is when I really noticed it, was kind of in myself, move from that back palm mute to this, like gradually, and it just takes the stress off of that bigger muscle that's not really made to, you know, just move this tiny light little plastic pick in these like tiny little motions. So yeah, give that a shot a little bit. Right, with those palm mutes, even though you kind of want to like fully swing at those chords, it'll still work if you're like doing the palm mute before those strings, so it's not actually palm muting and getting in the way. So now you've got full control. Because what the next phase of this would be is, can I hit these chords, you know, full force, and then immediately jump into that? Right, that gets like a little tricky. So I want you to try it slowly, so you're just kind of getting used to what moves. But this already, that part already sounds like way quicker. This has way more control. And the cool thing about this is, this trick is what I use to play fast. So if I'm doing, and I go to play like something like, right, I usually even start palm muted. And then like now I'm in that position, and now I can just do this like all day because I've locked myself in this position of not allowing my bigger muscle to get in the way. And usually when I'm doing it, I'll start with like a palm mute, and then when I move it back, I'm basically just holding my wrist right there, that part of my palm, and these here the whole time. And that just allows all the weight off, and all I have to do is worry about this. You know, so this is really going to help for the parts. So try it, go slowly, and see which technique works best for each one of those riffs.